Hi everybody, I'm Livy. This is my Booktube channel, Kindred Books. Today I'm doing the Booktube Newbie Tag since I am a Booktube newbie. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? I'm a college student at Indiana University majoring in media production, and I also love reading and writing and everything that has to do with books. So the idea of starting a Booktube channel just was really exciting to me because it was a cool way to interlock my favorite things to do, production, working with film, cameras, and reading. So it seemed like the perfect way to share both of my loves with my friends, my family, and anybody else who wants to watch. The next question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? I consider myself a pretty creative person, so I'm really excited to try and come up with new and exciting things to do. I will probably do the usual monthly TBRs and weekly book vlogs, but I'm also have some other ideas that I'm not sure if they'll work out yet, so I don't want to say anything. But I also have as a media student at Indiana University, I have access to all this really cool technology and all these awesome applications, so I'm excited to mess around and see what I can do and different ideas that I can bounce around. I also am a pretty outgoing person, so I feel like I'm not going to be, embarrassed if I do some kind of outdoor vlog thing or do some challenge that might be silly, but I am usually not too self-conscious around other people, and it's a big enough campus that if I really embarrass myself, no one will remember. The next question is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I'm just excited to get started and share my love of reading and my love of books and just share that content with you all. The next question is, why do you love reading? I love reading because the next question is, why do you love reading? When I was younger, my parents co-owned a small independent bookstore with two other families. It was called Tuesday Books, and it was in a small town in Michigan, kind of by MSU, East Lansing area. I just grew up in that environment where reading was always valued, and I, helped pick out books and run events, and it was a really amazing, magical way to grow up. I got to meet a ton of authors. It's how I started writing books, and I would just pick books up off the shelves and sit down in one of our comfy chairs, and I just read for hours, and it was that or be bored, so I wasn't really given much of a choice into loving reading since I spent so much time at the bookstore. So if I didn't love reading, I would probably be insanely bored all the time. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? My mom, more than anything else, got me into reading just by always reading to me and my sister before we went to bed. She would always read us a chapter from a book. The first one that I consciously remember her reading was The Princess and the Goblin. I adored that book, and it just kind of started this tradition where she would just read every night to me a chapter to me and my sister before we went to bed. And we always wanted her to do it because she always did the voices. And if she was sick or busy or had to go on a trip for a book conference or something, my dad would read, and he just never did the voices, and it wasn't the same. Sorry, Dad, love you. But anyways, the next question is, what book or series? Oh, I already did that one. It's what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I guess the questions I would ask my favorite booktubers would be, what are some helpful tips you guys have? What are some mistakes you guys have made that you would not want to see another new booktuber do? Just some helpful advice would be great. I'm new. The next one is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Just staying on top of it. I am a college student. I'm in my junior year. I have an internship. I have a job. But I always make time for reading, and people are impressed by that. So I feel like if I can always make time for reading, I can always make time to make a short video, hopefully. Question is, when did you start reading? I honestly don't remember when I started reading. I picked up on it very quickly. My mom would read me Madeline, and part of it, I'm not sure whether it was me figuring out how to read or if I just memorized some of the shorter picture books that my mom read to me when I was younger. But I remember reading Madeline. I remember the first book I remember sitting down and reading by myself was a Nancy Drew book. And it was the same one that my mom read when the first time she read a book by herself. It was The Secret of Shadow Ranch. Yeah, I can't remember like when I started reading. Like I know I could read by kindergarten. Like I knew I could read like chapter books by myself in kindergarten. Not like really big long ones, but those like short, easy reader ones. But I can't remember like when that started. I guess I was too young. And I remember. The next question is, where do you read? It just depends. I have a hammock that I like to go outside and read on sometimes. I have a comfy chair right next to my bookshelf that I like to read at too. When I'm mostly got the time to read, how I usually decide when I read is like, I know that I have homework and stuff, so I gotta usually do that first. Sometimes I'll take a little break and read a couple pages. But what normally happens is I have a book with me that I take to classes, and I always get to my class a little bit early. And I'll just sit and read before class starts, as long as there's not like a test or something that I need to study for. The next and last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Everything really. Like I will read children's books if they're written well. Some writer, I don't remember who, said at one point, if you are writing down to children, then you are doing them a disservice. And so really good children's books, I feel like, an appeal to anybody. I read a lot of YA. I've been getting into some more like adult books, I guess you would call them, but I've always been the one that likes like fantasy and adventure and chosen ones and all that crap. So it's been slow going for me finding, I guess, adult books that I enjoy. And my mom and I, she's gonna probably come on the channel at some point, have very different tastes in books, and so it's always funny because whenever she sees a YA book, she kind of has like a disdain for like, oh, it's YA, and I'm just like, YA is a good genre. It's such a weird genre, but it's probably my favorite to read. But I've been trying to branch out. There was one really, really good adult book that I read recently, and do I have it? I'm just gonna glance behind me really quick and see if I have it. Does not look like I have it with me. I can't remember what it's called, which is part of the problem. But I guess The Princess Bride, that was a really good one that I read that I didn't expect to enjoy. I love the movies, I'm a fencer, so, you know, Inigo Montoya, You Killed My Father, that's like, I'm a total Princess Bride groupie. But, yeah, I just, mostly everything, I don't even really, it's hard for me to pick, because it really just depends on the author. Like, I would normally say I don't like nonfiction, but one of my all-time favorite books is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote, which is nonfiction, and amazingly done. Like, it is one of my all-time favorite books. When we read it in high school, like, my classmates were like having like bad dreams, and like they were scared, and it's just like, I just ate up every word. I read it so fast, then I read it again, because it was just, the amount of work that Truman Capote put into it was just incredible, and it was a true story, and he made it read like a fiction book, and the way he used the language and the way he like slowly drew you into the characters, and you ended up feeling sorry for him, which was because it's real life, it's hard. There's no clear cut, you know, this is a bad guy. I mean, obviously they were bad people, but like, you know, you could tell that Truman Capote was conflicted when it came to these men. And then you became conflicted when it came to these men, because you were trying to understand why they did what they did, and even they didn't even understand why they were doing what they did. And it was just such an interesting read, and you ended up feeling sorry for the guys, even though they were horrible, horrible people. I'm like giving this like short review of In Cold Blood. I promise I'm not a psychopath. But yeah, that's the last question. So all in all, I'm just super excited to start this channel and share my love of books with you. I'm planning on doing a monthly TBR, weekly reading vlogs, and other fun, I'm getting an owl crate in, which I'm super excited about, so I'll be doing unboxings. I'll try and share some of my own writing at some point when I'm not too terrified to do it. And there's just so much I'm excited to share, so much I'm excited to do. Yeah, and I guess stick with me. Like, it may be a little rough going, I am in college, I do have finals and papers and projects, and I have an internship, so it's one of those things where I'm going to try my best to stay on top of it, and I think I can, but again, I can't really be sure of that. There's going to be times where I'll have too much homework, when I'll forget, when my battery dies and I don't have time to charge it or do anything else. So it's just one of those things that I'm going to try my very hardest. But there probably are going to be like weeks where I forget to post something, or it's a really short, or I'm just not that energetic. And I mean, I've been meaning to start this channel for a while, and it's taken me a while because I was moving into my new apartment. Hopefully I'll be here for the foreseeable future until I graduate. I only have this tiny little bookshelf. I used to have a bigger one. I'm supposed to be getting a book chair for my birthday from my dad. Please. That would be really cool to have, and yeah, it's like I want to do one of those standing videos, but if I stand up then you can't see the bookshelf or my cool dragons. I love my dragons. How to Train Your Dragon is a great movie, and I'm rambling now. But back on track. It really sucks though, because like my favorite shelf on my bookshelf is the bottom shelf, which you can't see right now. And it's got all my Harry Potter books. I have like the box set, I have 2 of the 20th anniversary editions from England, I have like my little like Harry Potter pop figures, and I'll do like a bookshelf tour at some point and show off that shelf, because that is my pride and joy. Like, I'm super proud of that shelf. But yeah, so this is Kindred Books, and thank you all for watching. I cannot wait to get to know everyone better and just share my love of reading, and yeah, thank you.